Now,
So
we can
let's
see
just go
teaching.
in. Let's just go in. And so we've been talking about evolve. And one thing is clear, and one thing that we have been able to establish so far is that having a delimiting mindset is actually one of the reasons why young people don't evolve. Because when they feel that, what's the point changing? This is how I am. I've had people say, this is the way God made me. I can't change. This is how I am. They try to be corrected. Probably their parent corrects them or something. They say, no, this is, that kind of, we need to strike a balance. And so I would be asking Nike, you're there. Please, I'll be asking you, how can young people work on their mindset in order for them to evolve beautifully? Nike, Matthew, any of you can jump into this question. How do you think young people can actually work on their mindset in order for them to evolve beautifully?
Hi everyone, good morning. I would like to know that you're following me. So in the chat session, I want you guys to say, I can hear you, something like that.
Yeah.
Thank you for the question.
Yes, we can hear
Okay, so when
you,
it
Auntie
comes to
Nike.
your mindset, thank you. Okay, so when it comes to your mindset, I'm going to start with the fact that your mindset is like your map of the world. And what that means is that every single thing that you currently believe is what you have been exposed to. So it can be negative, it can be positive, and it's also a product of many philosophies, many thoughts from people, opinions, your upbringing, your environment, your experiences, your interactions with people. All of these things form your mindset. And if you are going to evolve, you have to get to that point where you are challenging the thoughts that you have, you're challenging the belief systems that you have acquired so far. So that's just a summary of the things that makes up your mindset. Now, when it comes to how you can move from that limiting mindset to that mindset of evolving, the first thing I think you should do is to begin to track your internal dialogue. I think that the things you say to yourself matters a lot. It doesn't matter if I believe in you. It doesn't matter if Matthew believes in you. If you don't believe in yourself, if you have a negative self-look about yourself, you are not going to evolve. So it's not about the anointing that comes upon you, self. Even if all the anointing comes on you right now, if you don't permit your mind to evolve, you're not going to evolve. You're going to stay where you are. So the first thing is track your internal dialogue and ask yourself, what thoughts am I thinking? What exactly are the things? So if you can journal down the things that you're always saying to yourself, whenever someone triggers you, whenever pain triggers you, whenever your parents say something you don't like, it will help you to know if you're saying constructive things to yourself, if you're saying powerful things to yourself or not. So if, for instance, your mom asks you to do something, you never wanted to do it, and then you begin to rant, I don't like all these things. I know I'm not a special person. Maybe something is wrong with me. I shouldn't have been born into this family. When you think about those things saying, you're saying to yourself that you're not worthy, that you're not good enough, that you're not loved, you're not special. And so it begins to form the kinds of mindset that you have. The second thing I want you to do is that when you begin to track your internal dialogue, it's going to help you to observe your belief system, because your belief system is very powerful. It's really about who you are. So I want you to begin to pay attention to the belief systems that you are acquiring as time comes on. So I'm just going to give you a few tips because of other speakers. So when you're able to also track your belief system, one of the things that I think you should pay attention to is the kinds of friends that you move with. The kinds of friends that you move with can either, make you believe in yourself or not. So when I was growing up, I
Yeah,
had a lot of friends, but most of them were
very
either
true.
envious of me. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Can I allow
That's
someone
very
else continue, or I can continue?
yes. You've said so much, and you said something so key that I want
Okay.
Matthew to really help us understand better about the belief system. Matthew, can you really explain to us how do this belief system, how does it happen? Because we've met some teenagers who say, I don't know why I think like this. We know that it's a wrong thinking that causes people not to evolve. Maybe they think a certain way. And Nikki has just made us, she has, mentioned one or two things that, that happens. But can you throw more light at how do people just wake up and have wrong belief system? Do you understand? Do you understand my
Yes,
question?
I do, I do. Good morning, everybody. TJ, good to see your face. Timmy, good to see you. Sister Funke, I love you so much. It's been a very, very, very long while. And Nike, my darling friend, thank you so very much for having me. Dr. Kenny, thank you so much for having us on this platform. first I would say our belief system, it's a makeup of many things. One of them is our upbringing, also our experiences in life, especially the ones that are very significant to us. They build our belief system. And when this experience happen to us, and then they become they become a belief. They become what we believe as human, that this is what is obtainable. Because when it is significantly emotional experience, it becomes solidified to you that every day of my life, this is how things are done, because they are significant to you. And then because they are significant to you, they become your thoughts. And when it becomes your thoughts, you think about it regularly, and it becomes reinforced belief. And reinforced belief become reinforced action. Reinforced action give you reinforced results. If you get that result, it goes back again to become an enforced belief. So it's a circle. So these beliefs are formed by our upbringing. If you grew up in a place like Ajegunle, where I grew up, and you see violence every day, it is very natural for you to believe that violence is the way to handle life, is the way to handle issue of life, except you consciously tell yourself that no, there's a better way. And you are going to see better way if you are only introduced to that better way. If you are not introduced to it, whatever you see consistently becomes what you believe. Whatever you hear consistently becomes what you believe. Whatever you say consistently becomes what you believe. So your upbringing, your significant emotional experiences in life, and what's it called? Your background, your faith can form a belief in you. The way you things have been handled by your parents can become belief inside of you. Things have been handled by your friend can become a belief. It can become your belief system. And then your internal filters based on your values, your memories, your and many other things can form a particular pattern of belief inside of you. Because there is no belief without value. There's no belief without significant emotional experience. There's no belief without upbringing. All of these things, culture can form belief inside of you. So, and you can only evolve, or when you are being introduced to something new. When you are being introduced to something new.
Yeah.
I didn't get you, ma'am.
I said those are the things that actually causes a wrong belief. The background, the culture, the
Yes.
values, the way you were raised.
The background, the culture, the value, the media, they are this that they can either cause a positive belief or a negative belief, depending
even the social
on how
media we watch.
it is being introduced
Yes,
to you.
teenagers, I hope we
Yes.
can hear, young people, I hope we can
Yes.
hear. So those of us asking questions, how do I think this way? These are the reasons. So quickly, Funke, can you let us know what your take is on self-esteem for girls? Because we know that one of the wrong belief is what has led to low self-esteem, and that's one of the biggest. Well, that's one of the biggest problems that many young people face, and sadly, they actually evolve deformatively with that low self-esteem into adulthood, and that is what we see in our world today, where things are just happening. Nobody can speak up. Nobody can think outside the box because of this conditioned way that we have been raised based on what Matthew have said. So what are those things that actually causes self-esteem issues for girls? What are the consequences? What are the consequences? What are the aftermath of self-esteem issues for girls? And what do you think they can do about it?
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. I'm glad to be here. Matthew, thank you. TJ, Nike, and Timmy. I've not met you before. I'm seeing you for the first time, so I'm hoping to know you better. All right. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
About you're welcome, sir. Thank you. Talking about low self-esteem as a result of poor mindset, or we call it belief system, low self-belief system, your self-belief about yourself, by virtue of what Matthew and Nikki has said. A lot of things are made up who you are today as a teenager. And then you realize that one of the results of those things that you've committed into your mind that has become you, that has formed the you that you see today, has resulted in some of us having this low self-esteem. Like growing up, I don't used to believe that there's something so much about dressing. I just, if I can get a slippers, no matter how poor it is, I can just wear it and move around, I'm okay. You know, a lot of things like that, your upbringing, your environment, the people you work with, the people you mix with, what you've heard often and often, the things you hear people say about you, you know, it goes a long way to, you know, give you that feeling of low self-esteem. For example, if you're a plus size like me and you've been hearing you are too fat, you are too big, you are too this, before you know it, you start feeling like maybe I'm not good enough, I'm not beautiful, and before you know it, start rubbing off on your view of yourself. It start affecting your confidence. You start having low self-confidence in yourself. Even those things you know you could do better, you're unable to do them because you feel like when you come out or when you show, people don't just like your face, they just don't want to be with you, and then a lot of things like that. So I think every teenager should begin to see themselves as the best version. You know, there's a saying that be yourself, everybody is taken. You know, you need to begin to love yourself. You need to come from the place of loving yourself. You see, there's nothing you can, there are some things that you cannot fix, there are some things that are unfixable, you just have to live with them. You understand? And there are some things that you can deliberately work on yourself to fix. So if you have a low self-esteem, I want to say that partially it may not be your fault, but now that you're hearing us talking about it, how has it helped you? How has it impacted on you? So if you know that it has negatively impacted on you, there's a need for you to brace up. There's a need for you to come out of your shell. There's a need for you to appreciate and begin to celebrate your strength. A lot of us look into our negatives, into our challenges. We look into our weaknesses. We celebrate it so much. We carry it on our face. We move around with it, you know, and we even try to let people know that we have those things in us. We celebrate them and talk about them often. So we don't talk about our strength, and as girls, it has affected us. You see, there's this gender stereotype that also, you know, as contributed to the low self-esteem that girls have. There's this belief that you cannot do what boys are doing. There's this belief that there's a level you can get to that you as a girl, you cannot go beyond this. You know, there's this saying that you are just made for the kitchen. After school, the next thing is just look for one brother to just say you are the one. Just hook the brother, don't let him go, marry, and then start giving birth. You know, all of those stuff like that. So it's a way that I think we should begin to work on ourselves as girls and begin to accept who we are, celebrate the strength you have inside of you, and then come out with confidence and be bold to face your world and achieve your goals. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, ladies, you've listened to me, you've listened to her, you've heard her, that you need to celebrate yourself. You need to work on yourself. And you have to start working on yourself now. Don't wait till you're ready to get married as a teenager, because those low self-esteem thinking will affect your choice of a partner. Nikki, I'm sure you can agree less with that. That once you don't work on your self-esteem, you're going for the drains. I'm sure you want to say one thing and how it can affect guys. I don't know if you can say that. I'm very anxious to hear from TJ and Timmy, but I'm coming to both of you. Just chill. I'm coming to both of you now. But the Nikki, about self-esteem. I don't know, how does self-esteem actually affect young people, especially when they don't get to deal with it before they move into a relationship? Because I know a lot of young adults are also listening, apart from teenagers. I'm sure they will learn something from that. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Funke, for that insightful talk on self-esteem. It's good to connect with you here. She used to be my, I used to call her my rival. Okay, so back to your question. I think that when you do not work on your self-esteem, the first thing that happens is that you become a people pleaser. So you begin to please everyone that you meet because you don't want to hurt them. You don't want them to feel somehow. And when you're a people pleaser, it means that you're going to be bullied out of opportunities in life. You're going to find yourself becoming a validation junkie, where anything you want to do, you need to get approval first. You need to get what people think. And when you do not, when you're someone who is living for the approval of others, you're going to die by their rejection. And that's why you see many young people who go into suicide and depression, because some people are not accepting them. Another thing is that you find yourself using other things to build your self-esteem. You go into drugs, you go into prostitution, you go into addictions, masturbation, pornography. You start to date very early, and you're dating the wrong kinds of people. You're accepting the wrong kinds of people, and you're remaining in toxic relationships, even though it's very glaring that it is very abusive. But you don't have the strong will to really think that you deserve it. It also puts a separation between you and God, because regardless of how much God loves you already, you just find yourself constantly feeling like God doesn't like you. God placed you in this environment. God doesn't want some, you just feel like you're not special and all those things. So I think that your self-esteem is something you have to build on. You have to build your confidence, and it happens after, like, consistently. Don't forget, I started by saying check your internal dialogue and your belief system. These things will help you, and you have to be mindful. Mindful means paying attention to the thoughts that you're always having. If you're not paying attention to your thoughts, you're just living your life every day in a reactive mode. You just wake up and you just move on. You don't have confessions that you read. You don't try to meditate. You don't try to think. You don't try to journal. You just find yourself just living life the way it comes, allowing your friends determine who you should be. So have that time in your life where you're on your own, and you're always asking yourself, who am I? What am I listening to? Who am I listening to? Who is my authority? Stuff like that. Yeah.
So you need to be aware of your thoughts. You need to question your thinking from time to time. Ask yourself, what is this I'm thinking about? What's with this thinking I'm thinking? And you have to start to work on your confessions. You can't wake up in the morning and just walk out into just walk out and start your day without actually aligning your thoughts in the right way. That's why I tell my teenagers a lot, you need to have a relationship with God. You need to wake up with a sense of purpose. You need to align your thoughts. Don't just give it to chance. If not, you will go crazy. You will go crazy. You have met adults who suffer from serious chronic, I'm a doctor, so I will use a medical word. Chronic, in fact, excruciating low self-esteem. In fact, it seems as if they can never be helped again, because it has evolved. But I'm hoping, and I know that we will evolve, but our evolving will be beautiful. Thank you so much for those comments.